G'day there everybody right around the world. I hope you are doing well. This is going to be a Thursday afternoon market recap. We do have about 1 hour left in today's trading session. However, this is going to be entirely relevant to all of the individual stocks I speak about. Also, a major key breakdown that I've been looking at for a bounce moving forward. However, today that particular market being the transportational average copying a severe hammering. We are starting to see some large divergences build, or at least divergence build between that of the industrial average, as you can see on my screen right now, and that of the transportational average. However, before we move into that piece of information or that analysis, let me just bring you the chart of Walt Disney. Today we hit our target at 108.21. In fact, we blew straight through it. As at this current recording, we are closing up very close to $2.70 above Wednesday's trading session. You can see the entry here at 105.70. Again, this has been a trade which has been drilling into support on a multitude of occasions. You can see that we also have an inverse head and shoulders building. It looks as though we have just broken above this neckline. Again, pardon my actual line drawing skills just now, but often what will happen, the reason why our target has been here at 108.21 is because when we get to the neckline of this actual inverse pattern, this inverse head and shoulders, often we will pull back, we'll retest the pivot, and then we'll look at this as an additional buying opportunity. This will most likely coincide with earnings, which is expected towards the beginning of August. The expectation of the date which I have on my screen is the 8th of August. So it is going to be within the first 2 weeks of trading for the month of August. Now, continuing on with some market analysis, pay attention to that of the industrial average. You can see today we're closing up very close at the moment, above 50 points. It's not the biggest net move overall, but it has been another positive day. The reason I want to show you this is because I've been keeping a very close eye on the transportational average. In fact, it was about a week ago where I was speaking about some of the divergences which were beginning to build. And when I said divergence, you could see the transportational average turning down, whereas the industrial average was still sort of treading water above that macro resistance area. Since then, the industrial average has continued to the upside, but if you look at the transportational average today, today's trading session, you can see we're closing down at the moment 241 points. This is a long day Morobozu type of candlestick, and this is very, very troubling. This is a major warning signal once again, which does generally show up on the transportational average first before the industrial average itself corrects, or at least the two markets come back together. Now, to show you this, let me just overlay the actual price panel. So what I'm simply going to do is bring up the Dow Jones Industrial Average and overlay it with that of the transportational average on my screen. And what I'll do, I'll show you these lines at the moment. So on my screen right now, the industrial average is that of the purple line and the transportational average is that of the dark line. So you can see that they're starting to move in opposite directions. Generally, these lines will come back together sooner rather than later. Now, what we can essentially say at this particular point in time is that one of these two markets is telling fibs. And at this current point, it's a little too early to tell which market it is, but if I wanted to go out on a hunch, so to speak, it would be that of the industrial average. Generally, the transportational average is the truth teller of the two markets, and it oftentimes is a forewarning of what to look out for on the industrial average. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. It is a very important piece of analysis, a very important piece of intermarket analysis, and something that you should be aware of. The S&P 500, it did push into negative territory. Again, as I said, we've got about an hour's left of trading to move through. For today's trading session, the NASDAQ, again, pulling back. You can see that upper wick. We're down 33 points on the NASDAQ. It's only the industrial average, which is pushing positive at this particular point. Now, continuing on with some individual stocks, you can see Amazon. It has gapped up, but it has pulled back. This is what we call a bearish counter attack. You can see that upper wick as well, which is coinciding with selling pressure across the board. So you can see that a couple of these stocks, or at least the first stock I wanted to mention, you can see that similar sort of narrative. Again, Apple pulling back. You should be more or less out of Apple. I put out a video a couple of days saying more or less take your profits or bank those profits before earnings, where you can see Apple is starting to reverse a little bit. We've got Boeing Airlines continuing above 235.21. However, the candlestick at the moment is looking like that of a shooting star. So I would encourage you to place your stops below the gap support between Wednesday and Thursday's trading session. The open gap will often fill in this particular instance, and the individual candlestick today, being Thursday, is looking a little bit or slightly negative or slightly skewed to the negative side, given this upper wick in the construction of that of a shooting star. Baidu today, you can see it hit the target at 202. It also coincided with the earnings. So I mean, I'm not sure if people held this all the way through to the beginning of trading. I don't think you did, but if you did, you should have been out at 202. So that hit today Caterpillar still hasn't broken above that gap earnings announcement, which is on the private side of the Pro class. Also, I just wanted to say that the password itself to enter into Pro was updated, and I've shot out an email to people in Pro all around the world. So please check your emails to actually access that private content to do with the earnings trades and also that analysis class, which I performed for 90 minutes over the weekend. You should have an email, of course, in your inbox, so please be sure to check that. COP and CVX, they are moving back into support. They're actually starting to bounce, which is quite interesting as well. You've got Google, which is continuing to move in the bearish side. This is the key area that I've already alluded to, 950 and also 920, so please pay attention to that. Goldman Sachs is still holding at this support area. Not a whole lot to continue on. You can see IBM breaking below both 148 and 146. Personally, I am not in IBM. The reason for that is because during the trade setup, it was actually counter trend to the overall market. The markets are still in a defined uptrend, and because of that, I'm not really willing to take bearish trades in the face of a strong market. However, again, rounding this back to the transportational average, things are looking a little bit dicey. You can see Netflix an engulfing candlestick today. This is still looking strong. However, we are still holding above the exponential moving averages, so it looks as though we are going to move into some form of a volatile period. Okay, and this is as we come back down and retest those rising exponential moving averages across the board on the broader equity markets and also on a select number of individual stocks. All right, so there's a lot going on in the technical world. And there have been some really nice selective trades, a lot, or at least today and tomorrow, are going to be very busy in the world of earnings. You can see also Tesla today down about $6. It's still above the entry at 337, but we've got earnings, so you should more or less close this trade out for a very slight profit, if not more or less a neutral, non-eventful type of trade. And we'll just have a look at this over the weekend again, and especially next week also in that analysis class too. So I hope this has been beneficial for you. If you have any questions whatsoever, please email me, success@pivotpoint-trading.com. Outside of that, everyone, I will let you be on your Thursday evening. I'll see you over the weekend in that pro analysis class. All the best, everyone. Farewell.